Our belief that there is only one God is a reasonable belief.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah amma ba'd. So, today's topic is nifaq. Nifaq is a very, very heavy topic. It's a lot. So, inshallah, we have to introduce it before I get into it, but the idea is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the introduction, and after that I'm going to list about, I think, 8 or 9 qualities, main topics. And then after that, inshallah, I'll close with a conclusion. And it's important to remember with the quality of nifaq, there's a few issues that need to be remembered. Number one is that there's different levels of nifaq. So you can't say that, you know, there's just one type. There are some people that are complete munafiqeen. Like, for example, if someone were sitting here right now who was like a spy, you know, someone who is like a complete disbeliever, but he was pretending to be a believer, that would be 100% munafiq, right? But there are other levels of nifaq. Like, for example, if somebody has just, you know, diseases of the heart, you know, like, and so we're going to learn what this disease of the heart is, what its symptoms are, and by the end of it, you'll understand what this nifaq is, inshallah ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually begins the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah by describing 3 different categories of people. And this is really a remarkable thing. That first you have 4 ayat describing, muttaqeen, alladhina yu'minuna bil ghayb, etc., right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes 4 ayat describing the believers. Then only in alladhina kafaru, and then 2 ayat for the disbelievers. So you have 4 ayat for the believers, 2 ayat for the disbelievers, and then right after that you have 13 ayat talking about who? The munafiqeen. So imagine this. You have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to paint this picture where there's the believers on one side, and that's who you want to be with. So 4 ayat to describe them nice and clear. Just 2 ayat for the disbelievers because their situation is quite clear. They disbelieve, they say that they're not Muslim, the situation is quite obvious. But then in between are people who either say that they're believers who are not, or people who are believers but they're leaning a lot towards disbelief, you see? So there's this gray. There's this gray middle. And this is one of the reasons why there's so much description about the munafiqeen, because they need so much attention. You need to understand who these people are. It's a very important thing. Some mufassirin, they explain that the reason why there's so many ayat about the munafiqeen is because there's so many of them amongst the believers. What a scary thought. Furthermore, some of them say, well, they're the ones that do the most amount of harm, the munafiqeen. Those who are hypocritical, the hypocrites, they do the most amount of harm, so you need to know them the most, and they need the most attention. Whatever interpretation you want to take, the fact of the matter is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives this group a lot of attention, and so that's why today I think it's important that we talk about this as well. Point number 2, just into the introduction before we get into it, you should never label someone a munafiq. This is something that the Prophet ﷺ never did, and so we should follow that sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ knew who the munafiqeen were. He told his entrusted, the secret keeper of the Prophet ﷺ. This was Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, if I'm... Yes, that's a different. That's not the one who had the secrets of the Prophet ﷺ. The one who had the secret, the list of the munafiqeen, I believe, was Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, if I'm not mistaken. Radiyallahu anhu, jazakallahu khair. And so the Prophet ﷺ never exposed publicly who the munafiqeen were. So today, right now, nobody should be in their head saying, "Oh yeah, that guy. This description belongs to that guy, and this guy acts like this." You shouldn't be labeling people or thinking of who these things apply to. Nifaq is something that is in the heart. And so therefore, this should be a session for you to do some internal reflection. Maybe you're looking at me, maybe you're thinking about what I'm saying, but at the same time, what should be happening in your head? You should be going through the events of your own life. You should be analyzing, how much does this apply to me? How much do I do this? Or how can I stay away from this? Etc., etc. So there should be a little bit of reflection going on. So, just to get right into it, characteristic number 1 of the munafiqeen. Let's talk about their salah. I'm going to mention 1 ayah of Quran and 2 ahadith. And then we're going to describe the list that we build from this information. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ يراءون الناس ولا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا.
Okay, I'm going to break this down piece by piece in a moment. Well, let's go to the next one. The Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, إِنَّ أَثْقَلَ الصَّلَاةِ عَلَى الْمُنَافِقِينَ صَلَاةُ الْعِشَاءِ وَصَلَاةُ الْفَجْرِ. Indeed, the most heavy prayer on the munafiq is Isha and Fajr. Keep going just to finish it. The Prophet ﷺ said, As-salatul munafiq yajlisu. Okay, I'm not going to say the Arabic, it's a little long. The Prophet ﷺ basically said, this is in Muslim, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Abu Dawood, that the hypocrite is one who he sits while he watches the sun go down between the two horns of the devil, and then he stands and prays his 4 rak'ah quickly, pecking like a bird and not remembering Allah except a little bit. Okay, so after we've been given this information, what can we conclude about the salah of the munafiq? It's actually quite interesting. The first point that you need to take from this is that the munafiq prays. This is something you maybe didn't catch, maybe you didn't even consider it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the prayer of the munafiq. The first quality that should come into your mind is that, subhanAllah, the munafiq, he prays. That's incredible, because what does that say about all the people who are claiming their Islam, who are very proud of their Islam, and they really neglect their prayers? You know, are they in a worse situation than the munafiqeen? Or should we use the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says the difference between the believer and the disbeliever is salah? I'm not going to make a fatwa. I'm just saying the fact is that the Quran and the Sunnah is being very clear here, saying that the munafiqeen, they pray. They have a lot of problems in their prayer. We're going to describe that in a moment. But they do their prayers. That in and of itself should strike you. So that's point number one. They pray. Number two is that they pray lazily and with no khushu'. Right? They don't have any khushu' and they pray lazily. Now, right now you should be thinking about yourself. Do I do that? And the fact of the matter is that nobody here's a robot. We all pray sometimes with a lot of khushu' and sometimes with, less, right? The fact of the matter is, though, that every time you find that there's a pattern, that day by day you're praying your salawat and the khushu' and the concentration and your devotion in your prayer is becoming less and less. And you're becoming less and less focused. The first thing you should remind yourself, don't just be okay with this. Say to yourself, this is a quality of the munafiqeen. Am I slipping into this disease of the heart? Am I becoming a worse Muslim? I should fear for my deen. So this is it, that you're just praying lazily, not paying much attention, or there's not much khushu'. That in and of itself is a quality of the munafiqeen. Thirdly, they pray to be seen. So ask yourself the following question. If right now I said, okay, everybody, we got to get up and pray whatever salah it was, right? I'm sure you would get up and you would pray, maybe even keep your back extra straight. The person who's leading would recite ayat extra long with beautiful tajweed, etc. But then when you pray on your own, is it the same thing? Or would you say, if you were here alone in this, library right now, and you were studying on your own and it was salah time, would you say to yourself, okay, I got to stop studying, I got to pray salah? Or would you say, I can delay, I can put it off, If you keep on putting it off because you're on your own, well, this is a quality of nifaq, because you know that if the people were here with you and they said time to pray, you wouldn't object at all. You would say, yes, absolutely. So the people are affecting you more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a very, very dangerous fact. It's a quality. I'm not saying that makes you a munafiq. Once again, I'm saying that these are qualities you need to be careful of. Next, they have trouble with Fajr and Isha. Why? Because that's when people sleep, right? Some people are early sleepers and so they can't catch Isha because they pass out too early. And other people, they stay up so late. They have no problem with Isha, but then because they stayed up so late, they have a big problem with Fajr. This is a quality of the munafiq. If you know right now that you had problems this morning, or last night, or etc., then this is a quality that you need to be aware of. And subhanAllah, this is something that is really scary when you think of the time of the Prophet ﷺ. It was a completely different case. Because specifically when it came to Fajr and Isha, it was mainly referring to in Jama'ah, in the masjid. Because at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the munafiqeen would pray when everybody could see them, Dhuhr and Asr, etc. But when it was Fajr time, you can't really see people. They didn't have lighting, right? The masjid was dark. So people would go and you wouldn't know who was praying. So they'd say, okay, I don't need to pretend because it's Fajr. I'm not going to get any credit. No one's going to see me. So they forgot about Fajr and they forgot about Salatul Isha. Nowadays, unfortunately, the Muslims, they don't care whether it's bright, not bright, if it's Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, whatever. I'm not going to the Musalla. So this is a quality of somebody who is a believer who wants to safeguard himself from nifaq. The first thing you have to do is say to yourself, I should be more frequent with the masjid and be more punctual with my salawat, especially at Fajr and Isha. They delay to the last moment with no reason. Ask yourself, be honest. Are you ever in the middle of watching something? Entertainment, you're just hanging out, I don't know, just doing whatever you're doing, and then you say, there's still 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left? SubhanAllah, that's nothing. Okay, there's still 5 minutes left. Okay, there's still 1 minute. Okay, and 1 minute left, now I'll go. And since you only have 1 minute, I better hurry up and hurry my salah up. This is the quality of the munafiq. They delay to the last moment, and then they pray quickly. So the Prophet ﷺ described it beautifully, and the Quran describes it beautifully. You have these 6 qualities right here. Point number 2. So that's the salah. I started with salah because it's the heaviest one. I'm sure most of us feel kind of depressed right now, thinking, man, I need to change my life. So inshallah, try to get on it and try to fix this up. Next is more about your qualities as like your character. Argumentative. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Arba'a man kun fihi kana munafiqan khalisan." The person who has these 4 characteristics is a pure hypocrite. We all know this, right? What are they? Who can tell me?
He doesn't keep his promise.
He doesn't keep his promise, that's right.
He lies.
He lies. When he speaks, he lies. He breaks his promise, yeah?
He tells other people's secrets.
Yeah, if he's given like a covenant or something he's treacherous to that covenant. And last one? And when he argues, he goes all out. So, ask yourself, do a little self-reflection. When he speaks, he lies. Ask yourself, am I that person? Am I the type of person that when I say something, I'm lying? Now, maybe you don't lie purposely like bold-faced lies, but ask yourself, even in small things, like, for example, somebody tells you, you want to try this? Oh, I can't. How often do you hear people say the words, I can't? To simple, small things. You want to just try this food? Oh, I can't. Why not? Oh, I might not like the taste. I might not like the taste, therefore I can't? Don't say I can't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with the ability. I mean, there's a case even in the Sunnah where the Prophet ﷺ told a person, eat with your right hand, because the guy was left-handed. And he said, oh, I can't. And the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, so let it be. And the person's actually his hand went paralyzed. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, fine. You're denying the blessing of Allah. And not only are you denying it like quietly, but you're actually openly lying about it. So it's 2 sins on top of each other. First of all, you can do it, so don't deny the blessing of Allah. Second of all, don't lie about it when you're asked about it. So this person both lied about it and was denying the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had, and he got his hand paralyzed because of that. Because the Prophet said, fine, you want to say that you can't use your hand, so let it be that way. You can't use your hand. After, inshallah. So, this is something really, really scary. I find it very sad that when people say things like, oh, I can't. They just throw it out like it's nothing. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Like, if you can, you can. If you say, look, I have other things that take priority, just say so. You don't have to lie about it. You don't have to say, I can't, because you can. Furthermore, I gotta go. Something that people drop so easily. No, I gotta go. No, you don't have to go. You choose to go. That's fine. Oh, you have other things to do. That's fine. Say that. But don't say, I must go. There's so many sentences that people just throw out so quickly that are genuinely lies. They're just not true. Furthermore, do you ever make a promise and then break it? Oh, I'll see you at such and such time, and then you're late. And it doesn't bother you in the least. You don't say to yourself that, oh, this is a quality of nifaq, this is exposing who I am, this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I need to, sharpen my life game, I need to, step my life up. No, there's no reflection whatsoever. Oh yeah, I said I'd be there, but 2 hours late, no problem. It's so easy to make a text message, but, you couldn't be bothered to write a text and say, sorry about that, I'm late. You just show up late and, yeah, I broke my promise, so what? We all do it. Well, if we all do it, then we all have a problem. Furthermore, if he's entrusted with something, he proves to be treacherous. How many times are we entrusted with something and then somebody breaks it? You lend somebody your watch and then you see it's all scratched up. You lend somebody your car and then you see problems with it. SubhanAllah, and the scariest thing is that it doesn't even bother the person at all, to the point that they'll laugh. Oh yeah, sorry man, I think I messed it up. And they'll, oh, I can see how sorry you are. You're laughing. I mean, that in and of itself says something about your character, that you can prove treacherous and then you just laugh it off like it's nothing. As a believer, it should bother you. If somebody entrusts you with something, that's an amana. You should feel like this is a heavy weight on you until you give it back. And mashallah, I've seen some brothers that are such, mashallah, such, good believers, such good Muslims that, they'll say to somebody, okay, don't worry, I'll hold it for you. And then instead of they'll be busy with something, and I remember this one brother, he was holding a guy's sweater. And he was busy doing something. And I was like, okay, I'll hold the sweater for you. He's like, no, I said I'd hold it. And if something bad happens to it, then it's on me. So I'm not giving it up. And so he just held the sweater with him the whole time. And I was like, no, don't worry, I'll take it. He's like, no, I'm keeping it, because he was like, no, I told the guy I'd keep it. And so I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to put it I'm not going to trust. And then another person trusts, and then another person trusts. And then the whole thing gets messed up. And the last one, whenever he argues, he goes all out. And this is the one I want to focus on here. When he argues, he breaks all bounds. SubhanAllah, this is something that is very, very terrible, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna abghadar rijali ila Allah al-aladul khasim." Indeed, the most hated person to Allah is the one who is most argumentative and confrontational. So the Prophet ﷺ is telling you, this is in Bukhari, I believe. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, if you're the type of person who says to himself, I have to get to the bottom of this. No, I will argue all night. I will fight till the break of dawn. I don't care if you have to study. I don't care if you have work in the morning. I'm just going to keep arguing. I'm going to go through all bounds. If you're that type of person, then just know that this is a quality of somebody that Allah hates. Allah hates this person, the most abghadur rijal, the most hated person to Allah. This is a terrible thing to be. Just argumentative. And the Prophet ﷺ described kibr in Sahih Muslim. He said, Al-kibru batarul haq wa ghamtun nas. What a simple and clear definition. Kibr, arrogance, is batarul haq, the rejection of truth. And how true is that? That a person who is arrogant, he thinks he knows it all. He's a know-it-all, right? He has all the answers to everything. So you go and you tell him, listen, you're wrong about something, or you need to fix something. Immediately he rejects the truth. No, what? No, I don't. Then he can't just reject the truth and stop there, because you're saying, no, it's true. Such and such is a problem. Such and such needs to be fixed. Therefore, you need to fix it. Now the person's stuck. He's saying, I can't just deny, but I don't want to accept the truth because I have this arrogance. So what do? Wa ghamtun nas. See, they come together. So first batarul haq, then ghamtun nas. First, you reject the truth. Then when you don't have anything to say, what do? You attack the person. You belittle people. Ghamtun nas means you belittle people, or you put people down. So what do? It's called an ad hominem attack. Have you ever seen in debates between a Muslim speaker and a Christian speaker, or a Muslim speaker and an atheist speaker? You see these debates, and there's a lot of ad hominem attacks. They always say, they're like, that's an ad hominem. You're attacking me as opposed to attacking my argument. So you tell a person, listen, this and this and this needs to be fixed. Let's say with the MSA, or with whatever it might be, or with your character even. Something needs to be fixed. Instead of accepting it, the person says, well, what do you know? You're seeing it wrong because you're foolish. You don't know what you're talking about. You're like this. I know who you are. Didn't you do this and this and this just the other day? I know exactly who you are. So don't tell me that I need to fix something. You need to fix something. So first they reject the truth, but that's not enough. They reject it. Now they need to justify it. So they attack. Batarul haq, ghamtun nas. That's the description of kibr that the Prophet ﷺ gave. So don't be wrong and strong. Beautiful quote. Don't be wrong and strong. This is, just a nice little, proverb. In the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, somebody asked, Ya Rasulullah, ayyil iman afdal? Which faith is the best? The Prophet ﷺ said, قال الصبر والسماحة. Patience and samaha, tolerance or forbearance, just easy going. Like the Prophet ﷺ said, al-mu'minu hayyinun layyinun, right? The believer is hayyinun layyinun, easy going and soft and no problem. So he doesn't fret over small things. Why? Because the mu'min has bigger things on his mind. The mu'min is somebody who's thinking about his akhirah. He's thinking about the community. He's thinking about the ummah. He's thinking about these big issues. Little things don't bother him. So you want to go to this restaurant, that restaurant. I'm easy. I go either way. It's okay. Mu'minu hayyinun layyinun, easy going. Somebody who's, no, I'm right and you're wrong, and they hold on to every little thing. It shows how small their world vision is. It shows how small they are as a person, as people. So argumentative is another quality. So the first quality was what? Salah. And I don't want to re-describe everything, but you guys got the picture of the salah there. Next is being argumentative. Constantly fighting and arguing and being this person on the attack. Another quality of nifaq. Third quality. They have a fake interest in Islamic knowledge. This is really scary. Listen to this hadith, ayah of Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
خرجوا من عندك قالوا للذين أوتوا العلم ماذا قال آنفا أولئك الذين طبع الله على قلوبهم واتبعوا أهواءهم.
Okay, beautiful ayah from Surah Muhammad. And among them, there are those who listen to you. So listen, these people are actually listening. They're sitting and listening to the dars of the Prophet ﷺ. They're sitting and they're listening to you until when they depart from you. So then they walk away. So imagine, this is a dars right now. You're listening to everything that's being said, and then you leave and you go hang out with your friends. So when then they depart from you, they say to those who were given knowledge. So they go to the smart one from the crew, right? So let's say amongst the sisters, there's one who's a little bit more knowledgeable than the rest. Or from amongst the brothers, there's one more who's more knowledgeable than the rest. They go to that person, their buddy. And what do they say? ماذا قال آنفا? What did he just say right now? I didn't understand that. What was he talking about? I didn't get that part. So maybe you don't understand it just yet. أولئك الذين طبع الله على قلوبهم واتبعوا أهواهم. It is them who Allah has put a seal over their hearts and they follow only their desires. So what is the implication that's going on here? If you sincerely have a question at the end of the speech, at the end of the lecture, whoever the lecturer is, it doesn't have to be me. And I'm not trying to make a specific example. This is specific to the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ mentions something, teaches something. And then the people listening, they hear what's being said, but they have questions. Those who are honest and sincere wait till the dars is over and then go up to the Prophet and say, by the way, I had some questions. I want to know about this, that. Beautiful. You want to know the truth, so you went and asked. The person who is a munafiq, the hypocrite, what does he do? He listens. He says, I don't agree with that. That sounds ridiculous. No, this speaker doesn't know what he's talking about. No, I don't agree with any of that. But they don't go and confront the speaker themselves. They don't go and confront the Prophet himself. What do? They wait to leave. Then they go to the person, try to cause fitna. Hey, did you hear what that guy said? No, I don't agree with that sheikh. That sheikh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or the Prophet said, no, he didn't know what he was saying. No, I don't really agree. What was he saying? What was he talking about? I don't know if I agree with that stuff. Try to cause fitna. Look, if you were sincere, if you sincerely had a question, go ask your question. The fact that you wait till later, it shows it's displaying who you really are. You're exposing yourself. True interest in knowledge, you go to the source. Fake interest in knowledge, you just ask questions for the sake of talking, for the sake of fitna, for the sake of gossip, for the sake of discussion. Next, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still in the quality of fake interest for this point number 3, fake interest in Islamic knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
وَإِذَا دُعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَهُمْ إِذَا فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ.
Subhanallah, it's so scary because, you can imagine this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is in Surah 24. Surah 24 is Nur, Jazakallah khair. And when they are called to the words of Allah, when they're called to Allah and His Messenger, du'u ila Allahi wa rasulihi, when they're called to Allah and His Messenger, as in when they're called to the Quran and to the Sunnah, to Islam, they rule by Islam, do the things by Islamic precincts or by law. To judge between them. When they're called to Allah and His Messenger to judge between them, at once a party of them turn aside. So you go to somebody and you say, listen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this in the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said this in hadith. So this is the way we should do things. They're like, look, don't tell me about Quran and hadith. They turn away. They're uncomfortable with that. Then, however, but if the right is with them, يَأْتُوا إِلَيْهِ مُذْعِنِينَ, they come to you willingly and full of submission. So, unfortunately, you see this with a lot of parents. Parents will tell you, listen, don't fast during Ramadan. I'm not trying to attack any parents. I'm just trying to say, this example becomes quite clear, unfortunately, with the parents. Why? Because they're cherry picking. They say, look, as a son, you have to obey your parents. Look, the Quran says it. Look, the Hadith says it. Obey, it's like, mom, dad, what about Salah? Well, why don't you go to Jummah? Why don't you, I don't know, we should be fasting, right? No, don't fast during Ramadan because you have to study for your exams and fasting is going to make your mind weak. And listen, you can miss a day of fasting, that's okay. And, the parents are not so interested in these deen things. Oh, going to the Halaqa, that's not important. Waking up for Fajr. All these things are not so important. But obeying the parents, big deal. So cherry picking. When you tell them, listen, this is the Quran and the Sunnah, they say, I'm not so interested. The moment it's on their side, the moment they have the right, the Quran, the Sunnah, what are you doing? This is Islam. You're belittling the Quran and the Sunnah? You see, it's cherry picking. It's fatwa shopping, right? And many Muslims do this. They see something they like. Oh, the Sheikh said it. We have to follow. Yeah, but, what about this? No. This, don't tell me about Quran and Sunnah. This is not what I'm interested in. So this is what? Fake interest in Islamic knowledge. So that's point number 3. Point number 4. Inactive for Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Fath.
سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم.
So those who remain behind, subhanAllah, instead of even the word like munafiq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word mukhallafun, the laggers. That's the quality, the laggers. You know, some people are always in the back, back of the class, back of the, just always just the last people to get on something, the last people to help out. Come on, let's go. Oh, I'm coming. Always that guy's always in the back, This is the laggers, right? سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا. SubhanAllah, it doesn't matter. 1400 years later, the excuses are always the same, right? Listen, the laggers, they're going to come to you and say, listen, ask Allah to forgive us. We would have wanted to be with you on the expedition or whatever it was. But, our amwal, our business kept us busy, whether it be monetary transactions or agriculture. It kept us busy, wa ahluna, and our family. Always the same excuses. I got a family, something. I got school, this or that. I got work, this or that, right? Always the same stuff. يَقُولُونَ بِأَلْسِنَتِهِمْ, and sometimes this is legitimate. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَقُولُونَ بِأَلْسِنَتِهِمْ مَا لَيْسَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ. They say with their tongues that which is not in their hearts. So, an Islamic event comes up. Brother, we need volunteers for such and such a day. You're free. You can help. There's no problem. I'm really busy. I really wish I could. I have things to do. And, I'm just going to be busy that day. I wish I could though. No, really, I'd love to be there. Honestly. And it's just not true. You can't, you guys are laughing. It's sad, but we know it, right? It's a sad reality. You say, oh no, I'm going to be studying that whole day. And then that day, how much did you study? Maybe 5 minutes, maybe not at all. And then it's like, oh, I really had to study that day, but you watched movies that whole day, or you just, you hung out with your friends that whole day. No, I'm really busy. I have a lot of things to do. Either I got a family get together, شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا, right? My money kept me busy, whether it be work or school, right? Or my family. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to these people.
قل فمن يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا أو أراد بكم نفعا بل كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا.
اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله إنهم ساء ما كانوا يعملون. They have taken their oaths as a cover. So their oath, what is their oath? I swear, honestly, no, really, I'm being really sincere here. Honestly, I really can't. So they use those oaths and swearing as a junnah, as a cover. Why? Because they don't want to tell you the honest truth. Listen, I'm just not interested in showing up to your program. I just don't care. I don't want to help out. Yeah, I know you need help. I don't want to be there. I'm sorry. I have other things to do. I'd rather be watching television. They just can't say that honest truth because, wow, what does that mean of me, right? So instead, they just say, look, I really wish I could. I'm just really busy. And they're not. This is the quality of the munafiq. Imam al-Awza'i, he said something really beautiful. He said, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنِ يُقِلُّ الْكَلَامِ وَيُكْثِرُ الْعَمَلِ وَإِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِ يُكْثِرُ الْكَلَامِ وَيُقِلُّ الْعَمَلِ. What a beautiful and just a small and simple but clear and powerful statement. Indeed, the believer, he speaks little but does a lot. And the hypocrite talks a lot but does very little. SubhanAllah, look at the ummah today. Don't we have people who just love to sit in a circle and talk about the problems of the ummah? Don't we all just love to, oh man, the Muslims are doing this, and this is happening, and that, in the Middle East, this is happening, and all the Muslims around here, so many problems, and with the brothers, the brothers, with the sisters, the sisters, and the children, oh my God, the children, and everybody's just talking about how horrible the ummah is. Talk. Okay, what are you doing? What have you done? Do you have any action plan? Do you have any intention? You know what the scariest, it's so funny that Muslims, when they're giving da'wah, they feel so proud when they ask, a non-Muslim, what's your purpose in life? And the person's like, oh, I never thought of that. And they're like, see, think about it. Come on, what's your purpose in life? And then you ask that same Muslim, what is your intention for the ummah? What is your purpose for this ummah? Not your purpose of life. Yes, وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah created you for worship. But what are you going to do for this ummah? And instead of, realizing this contradiction, I don't know, be good. Well, what do you plan to do for this ummah? No, never thought of it. I'm actually supposed to do something like an actual plan. like with money and time and, dates and degrees and action, like a real plan? No, I just want to be a good person and, hope it all just all falls into play. SubhanAllah, don't just have a lot of big talk. The believer should be someone who acts. And this is, SubhanAllah, such we see it all the time when it comes to masjid work or MSA work. Someone sees the masjid, they just walk in, maybe for Eid, or maybe just, for Jummah. They never show up to the masjid, never help out, never do anything. They just show up one time, look around and say, the bathrooms are dirty. And the kids' classes should be better. And you guys should give da'wah and stuff. And, all right, I'm out of here. Just talk, just do this, do that. And, signing off, I've done my part. As if the whole world is going to just start running. Yes, sir. Sure thing, sir. You got it, sir. Thanks. And they're all going to run around and fix everything and say, you did it, man. You can't, you pointed out all the problems and we, thanks a lot. Yeah, no problem. I just showed up and just, bossed everybody around. We don't need a bunch of people bossing things around. And this happens all the time in the MSA. We could do this in the MSA. Really, brother? Okay, do it. Here. Do it. The wudu area is not clean enough. Here's a mop. Enjoy. Please, bismillah, be my guest. Just clean it up. Oh, no, someone should do that. The best sentence in the world. Someone should do something. That's the best sentence ever. Someone should really do something. Isn't that just the most broad and useless statement in the world? Someone should really do something. Wow, that's an excellent observation of yours. Thank you for your contribution to humanity. I appreciate it immensely. So, this is actually mentioned in Surah Tawbah. There's a really powerful ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the munafiqeen.
لو خرجوا فيكم ما زادوكم إلا خبالا ولأوضعوا خلالكم يبغونكم الفتنة وفيكم سماعون لهم والله عليم بالظالمين.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is describing a situation of wartime. So the Prophet ﷺ had to go with a certain army, and certain people detracted and didn't come with the army. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, look, it's a good thing they didn't come with you. For you, it looks like, the MSA is small, the army is small, the masjid is small, whatever, right? Whatever thing it is, you say, it's, small numbers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, look, had they gone forth with you, had they actually been with you, they would have only increased, they would have not even increased you except in confusion. And they would have been active among you, seeking to cause you fitna. And among you are avid listeners to them. And Allah knows fully well the zalimun, the oppressors or wrongdoers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, look, when it comes to certain people, good. It's good that they're not there. I'm glad they didn't show up. Why? Because if they showed up, why this? No, why that? Why should we do it this way? No, I think we should do it that way. No, why should the flyers be green? I think they should be red. I think this. And every little thing they want to make an objection, just like Bani Israel. What color was the cow? And how big was the cow? And point out the cow. I don't know. Just for the sake of establishing, they just don't want to do it. They just don't want to move forward. They don't have the mindset of progress. You see, they just want to cause fitna. And she said that, but he said that. And so I think that those two should not be. And he said, she said, just causing fitna between them for no reason. SubhanAllah, look at the goal and try to work towards the goal. And if you have a bunch of people there who just have egos and who just want to flex their muscle and flex their opinion and flex their, their opinion on you, it's a bad thing. You don't want these type of people. So alhamdulillah, if less people show up to something, don't say, it's a bad thing. Say, alhamdulillah, the people who showed up, they're going to be the best, inshallah. So this is, they don't show up, and so you're glad they didn't show up. This is the quality of the munafiq. Next. Point number 5. So what were the 4 points? Sorry, I know this is a lot, right? I told you this was I said at the beginning, everybody's faces are all down and gloomy, It's a really heavy topic, I know. So what was the first point? Salah. Next point? Argumentation, yeah, and being very confrontational. Next? Fake interest in Islamic knowledge. And number 4? Inactive for the deen. MashaAllah. Great. Point number 5. I know it's a lot, right? We're going to keep going, inshallah. Point number 5. They act righteously around the believers. They're two-faced. Point number 5, two-faced. Simple as that. The word nifaq actually comes from the root word nafaqun, which means a rat hole or a mouse hole. It's actually the hole of a jerboa. A jerboa is like a big lizard. Okay? And this lizard basically is a smart animal. It has 2 holes to its den. So he lives underground, and then he could pop out of one hole if there's danger on one side, and he could pop out the other side if there's danger on that side. So the idea is the munafiq, he basically, if the believers are in trouble, don't worry guys, I'm with you, he can act like a disbeliever if he needs to, right? Keeps that beard real tight so nobody can really notice, that he's a Muslim. Don't want to identify too much, you know what I mean? With Islam, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and be a Muslim, that's dangerous, right? I want to be enough that I can act like this when I need to and act like that when I need to. Just go out of whichever hole suits the mood, right? So that's actually, to be honest, for brothers, if you want to avoid that, grow your beard so it's obvious that you're a Muslim. That way you will always be the Muslim guy. You can't avoid it. And same thing with hijab. For the sister, that's it. You're the Muslim sister. You can't avoid it. Once you have the hijab, it doesn't matter where you go, you're the Muslim sister. You can still act badly, and so you should always be careful of that, but at least that's one step in the right direction. So, the jerboa, nafaqun, it refers to this hole that the jerboa has. It can escape from either side and basically be two-faced, whichever side suits him best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Surah Munafiqun,
وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ تُعْجِبُكَ أَجْسَامُهُمْ وَإِن يَقُولُوا تَسْمَعْ لِقَوْلِهِمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ خُشُبٌ مُسَنَّدَةٌ.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and when you see them, their forms please you, and if they speak, you listen to their speech. So even, subhanAllah, they were really acting like they were interested in Islam, and they were saying good things about Islam to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ was happy with these people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, كَأَنَّهُمْ خُشُبٌ مُسَنَّدَةٌ. They're like propped up wood. Like a scarecrow or something. A scarecrow looks like a person and does the job of scaring, the crows away, but it's just propped up wood. It's nothing. And so these munafiqeen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look, it's empty. These people are very empty. So the question is, when you're around Muslims, do you act a certain way? And when you're not around Muslims, do you act a different way? There's a very scary hadith that is authenticated by Al-Albani. It's in Ibn Majah. And the Prophet ﷺ, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not going to quote it directly, but basically the Prophet ﷺ said, on the Day of Judgment, I'm going to recognize certain people who they have good deeds like the mountain of Tihama. It's a big mountain of good deeds. But they're all going to turn to dust. And then I believe it was Thawban, Wallahu Alam, the Sahabi, actually, I don't want to say for sure. A Sahabi, I'm not going to say who, a certain Sahabi, he said, Ya Rasulullah, what was their quality that they had all these good deeds and then just turned to dust? What did they do? I don't want to be part of them. And the Prophet ﷺ said, well, these people, they look like you, as in they look like Muslims, and they act like Muslims. He even said, they even pray at night, just like you. They pray at night like you. However, when they're alone with the prohibitions of Allah, they break them. When they're alone with the prohibitions of Allah, they break them. So when they're alone, they just indulge in sin, do all these haram things, and then one by one, all these good deeds get taken away. They have good deeds like the mountain of Tihama, huge mountain, all gets turned to dust. Why? Because they just kept on destroying it. Because they were two-faced, they act a certain way alone, and acted a certain way around the believers. So that's two-faced, that's point number 5. Point number 6. This one's really funny. They have a guilty conscience that leads to defensiveness. So just constantly they feel like everything is being accusing them. Everyone's on the attack. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
يَحْسَبُونَ كُلَّ صَيْحَةٍ عَلَيْهِمْ هُمُ الْعَدُوُّ فَاحْذَرْهُمْ قَاتَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ أَنَّى يُؤْفَكُونَ. They
think that every shout is against them. They think that every time somebody says something bad, what would you say about me? What'd you say about me? Always nervous. They are the enemy. Humul adu. They are the enemy. And even some people say the fact why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this ma'rifah al-adu, the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they are the enemy is because they're the real problem. Even though the disbelievers and many different people are going to be the enemies of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said these are the enemy. Humul al-adu. Al-adu, the enemy. So these are the real problem. Humul adu fahdharhum. So beware of them. Qatalhumullah. May Allah destroy them. May Allah kill them. May Allah curse them. Anna yu'fakun. How they are deluded. So this is just really funny. These are people who they're so paranoid, because the idea is this, that we just mentioned how they're two-faced, right? So these people are two-faced. And because they know they're two-faced, they get paranoid that everybody can see through their facade, right? They feel like everybody knows it. Like, oh my God, does everybody know what I do when I'm alone? Does everybody know who I really am? Have they seen me? when I'm with my other group or, when I'm with other people. And so because they have this paranoid feeling of guilt, every time somebody says something bad, well, what'd you say? What? And they think, and this happens a lot with, I can't hang around the Muslims. Why? Oh, they're always judging me. What do they say to you? Well, nothing. They just have those judgmental eyes. Well, do they have judgmental eyes, or are you just imagining because you have this guilty conscience, right? So, there's a very beautiful, in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that the believers don't fear the blame of the blamers, right? This is in Surah Ma'idah. The believer is one who he's not self-conscious. Why? Because he has a relationship with Allah, and that's where he develops his confidence from. That's where he knows he is responsible to. That's the one to Allah does he concern himself. So when somebody comes and blames him for this or that, if it's grounded, he'll listen, and if it's not grounded, he doesn't care. However, the munafiq is constantly on defense mode because they have two faces. And, there's a lot of, if you always tell the truth, there's a proverb I read a little while ago. It says something like, if you always speak the truth, you never have to remember anything, right? Because a liar, someone who has two faces and is always living a double life, always has to remember who he was in the other life, right? He always has to keep up the lie, keep up the act, and keep up the pretenses, right? So there's so much to remember, and it becomes stressful after a while, trying to hide everything. You become stressed out, and then you become defensive. There's even in the Bible a nice quote. It says, "The wicked man fleeth, though no one pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." It's a nice quote. The wicked man, he runs away even though nobody's running after him. He fleeth, though no one pursueth. He's just scared. He's always nervous. He's scared of his own shadow. And so the believer is the exact opposite from the munafiq. The munafiq hates criticism. He even thinks people are criticizing when nobody's criticizing. Versus the believer who seeks out criticism. The believer wants to improve. Could I have done that better? Could I have said that better? Could I have been more sincere? Did I offend you, brother? I'm sorry. I'm going to do that better next time. The believer wants people to tell him how to become a better Muslim so he can become a better Muslim. The munafiq, exact opposite. So point number 6, guilty conscious leads to defensiveness. Point number 7, I'm almost near the end. I know it's really heavy. Point number 7, detachment from the Quran. Detachment from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, well, first of all, we need to understand that nifaq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often refers to it as fi qulubihim marad. In their hearts there is a sickness, there is a disease. Okay? So we have to understand that nifaq is a disease of the heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Quran as a shifa, as a cure, and as a cure specifically for the heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا.
يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O mankind, there has come to you instruction from your Lord and a healing for that which is in the chest. Shifa'un lima fi sudur. A shifa, a healing for that which is in the chest. So what is that talking about? The heart. So it's as simple as this. Nifaq is a terrible and dangerous disease. In fact, to the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the munafiqeen will be fi darkil asfal min an-nar, right? In the lowest pits of the hellfire. So the munafiq is in the worst situation. So if you know that there's this epidemic, right? If some sort of a disease was running around this city, you would naturally go and try to get the shot, right? You try to get cured. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, look, nifaq is a widespread disease that a lot of people have. What is the cure? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the Quran is the shifa for that which is in the heart. It is the cure for that which is in the heart. So ask yourself this. If you want to be cured from this, what is your connection to the Quran? If you are attached to the book of Allah, that is your shield. That is your defense. That is your, what's the word for vaccination? Jazakallah khair. That's your vaccination. If not, then that shows how interested you are in protecting yourself from this disease. That was point number 7, detached from the Quran. Point number 8, last 2 points, inshallah, 8 and 9, that's it. And then we're going to run to conclusion. Point number 8. Izzah. Where do you seek it from? Izzah, where do you seek it from? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Bashir al-munafiqeen. This is sarcasm, sort of. It says, give glad tidings to the munafiqeen. بِأَنَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Give them glad tidings of a painful punishment. الَّذِينَ يَتَّخِذُونَ الْكَافِرِينَ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِندَهُمُ الْعِزَّةَ فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Give glad tidings to the hypocrites, or give the tidings to the hypocrites that there is for them a painful punishment. Those who take the believers as allies instead of the believers. What is their quality? They have close friends amongst disbelievers instead of believers. Clearly, if you want to be a better Muslim, you hang around good Muslims. If you don't care about that stuff, what do? You hang around non-Muslims. You just show up to a speech once in a while when somebody forces you. But in the end, your real close people, the people you spend time on the phone with, people you hang out with, you have deep conversations with at a coffee shop, the people that you're really close with, disbelievers, and you reject the believers to be your close friend. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling these people. أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِندَهُمُ الْعِزَّةَ فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Are you trying to seek from these people honor and strength? Is this where you get your honor from? Don't you know? Indeed, فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Then indeed, izzah and honor belongs to Allah entirely and completely. So, we see it. It's a really sad thing that you see Muslim youth. They try to act, they try to get their coolness from what? Dressing like a certain celebrity, non-Muslim, disbeliever. They look up to who? They look up to movie stars and rappers and XYZ, right? They look up to all these different people. And why are they doing that? It's not necessarily because they're trying to give honor to that person. Nobody's trying to honor Jay-Z, or nobody's trying to honor Kanye West, or all these different people. They're not trying to give them honor. They're trying to give themselves honor. They try to act like these people, listen to these people's words, memorize their words, dress like them, have swag like them. Why? Because they're trying to take from them izzah. They're saying, these people have honor in my eyes. I see these people as honorable. That in and of itself is sad. I see them as honorable so much that that's where I'm going to get my honor from. I'm going to start acting like them. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that your whole mindset is completely in a bad situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also, وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. That indeed to Allah all honor belongs, and also to His messenger, and also to the believers. This is where izzah is found, with Allah, His messenger, and the believers. وَلَكِنْ, however, الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. The munafiqeen, the hypocrites, they don't understand this. They don't get it. They just can't comprehend this. So they're trying to be cool, and that in and of itself is a funny point. The idea of trying to be cool. I mean, how uncool is trying to be cool? I mean, that's just the least cool thing you could possibly do, and that's exactly what a lot of people try to do. And it's just sad. You see these young kids trying so hard. If I buy this, maybe I'll be cool. It's not about buying something, buddy. I'm sorry. No one is gonna be, that's not how it works. I'm sorry. And there's a very beautiful proverb in Arabic. It says, إِذَا الْمَرْءُ لَمْ يَدْنَسْ مِنَ اللُّؤْمِ عِرْضُهُ فَكُلُّ رِدَاءٍ يَرْتَدِيهِ جَمِيلُ. It means, you can even make it rhyme in English. It rhymes in Arabic. You can make it rhyme in English as well. It says, if a man doesn't mess his rep with something wretched, no matter what he wears, his dress will seem splendid. And the last point, actually, maybe it shouldn't be on camera because maybe it's an issue that the final point, inshallah. Oh, actually, then there's a conclusion. But the final point in terms of so that was number 8, izzah. Where do you seek it from? Number 9 is about bravery. The munafiq is a coward. The munafiq is a coward. So maybe we can edit this part out. These aren't good things to be put on camera, but it still needs to be said. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were battles. We know of this, right? So this is part of our history. We can't deny it. And there were times when the believers wanted to fight. They were saying, look, we're being oppressed. We're being beat up. We're being treated terribly by the disbelievers. Let's fight. And the Prophet ﷺ was saying, no, not the time to fight just yet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, it's just a funny scenario. You can imagine it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, this is in Surah Muhammad. وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَوْ لَا نُزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ. The believers are saying, why doesn't a surah get revealed? And I'm pretty sure, wallahu alam, I have to do a little bit more research, but I'm pretty sure this is referring to a surah about fighting. Wallahu alam. I'm not going to say 100%. I'd have to make sure, but I'm pretty sure the context is talking about why isn't a surah revealed about fighting? Wallahu alam. فَإِذَا أُنزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ مُحْكَمَةٌ وَذُكِرَ فِيهَا الْقِتَالُ رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَيْكَ النَّظَرَ الْمَغْشِيَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْمَوْتِ. So it's basically saying that, the believers are saying, let's have a surah come down And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to reveal a surah where it had a precise muhkam, it had a very clear and precise mention that you should fight. فِيهَا الْقِتَالِ, right? You should fight. رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٍ. You'd see the people that have a sickness in their heart, right? The sickness of nifaq. You'd see these people that have a sickness in their heart. يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَيْكَ. They'd be looking at you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They'd be looking at you. نَظَرَ الْمَغْشِي عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْمَوْتِ. They'd be looking at you like a look where they're covered with death. Have you ever guys seen, like, people say, like, it looks like you've seen a ghost, When a person goes like white, like they just look like they've just seen a dead body, or like death has just covered them, right? And so they have this look, like, what? It's time to fight? And they just get all woozy and afraid, and that look gets on their face, right? This is exactly the description that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes those who have a sickness in their heart. So it's a scary thought that, look at the believers today. Well, I don't want to get into too much commentary. I'm just going to say at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was the situation. And so there's a very nice, another proverb that I read the other day. I read a lot of proverbs, and that's another issue. Anyway, I read another beautiful proverb the other day, and I thought it was very powerful. It said, it's better to be the widow of a hero than the wife of a coward. I'll let you sisters think about that. Anyway, moving right along. Conclusion, inshallah. That's point number 9. So conclusion, inshallah. 2 quick points for conclusion. I know it got long. I apologize. 2 quick points for conclusion. Number 1 is that there's no guarantees. The Prophet ﷺ said in Bukhari, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُؤَيِّدُ هَذَا الدِّينَ بِرَجُلِ الْفَاجِرِ. Allah may cause this religion to prevail by means of an immoral man, by a fajr, by a wicked person. So even if you're the type of person who's saying to yourself, well, that's not me. None of this is me because I do so much for the ummah. Well, the Prophet ﷺ is telling you in Bukhari, this is in Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it's possible, it can happen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make this religion prevail because of a wicked person. So just because you're doing good things for this ummah, that does not mean that you're guaranteed from nifaq. So if, for a moment you listen to these 9 things, and you said to yourself, oh, none of them apply to me, I'm the best, because I do so many things for the ummah. The Prophet ﷺ is telling you, maybe these things apply to you, even if you're doing things for this ummah, even if you're making this religion prevail, it could still mean you're a munafiq. It's possible. The Prophet ﷺ also said, أَكْثَرُ مُنَافِقِي أُمَّتِي قُرَّاؤُهَا. This is declared authentic by Al-Albani and by Ahmed Shakir as well. It's declared as sahih. The Prophet ﷺ said, the most amount of hypocrites of my ummah are the qurra'uha, either its reciters or its knowledgeable ones or its scholars. So if you're saying to yourself, no, I have too much knowledge in Islam, it couldn't be me. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, no, it could be you too. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying go attack your scholars or no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't think that you're protected if you are doing a lot for the ummah or if you are a knowledgeable person or if you recite Quran a lot. These aren't 100% guarantees. And in fact, Hassan al-Basri has a very beautiful saying, super comprehensive. ما آمنه إلى المنافق وما خافه إلى المؤمن. This was in reference to nifaq, hypocrisy. He says, nobody feels safe from it except from the munafiq. The only person who says, oh, that's not me, I'm not a munafiq, is the munafiq. The only person that feels safe from it is the munafiq. And the only person who fears it, وَمَا خَافَهُ إِلَّا الْمُؤْمِنِ. The only person who fears it is the mu'min. So if you want to be a true believer, always think about these 9 things, and there are many more, but these 9 points that we went through, think about them and keep them on guard. Oh, too much of that, I gotta be careful. Too much of that, I gotta be careful. Oh, I got too loud in that argument. Oh, I got a little too lazy in my salah. Whatever it was, always keep yourself on guard and be afraid of nifaq. That's a quality of the believer. That's point number 1, that there's no guarantees as a conclusion. And point number 2, that the hypocrites will always be exposed. You don't need to expose anybody. You don't need to go on some crusade to, gather all the munafiqeen and throw them out of the MSA or, out of the, this is not your business. Nifaq is an issue of the heart. You have to focus on your own heart. You can't look into anybody else's heart. And in the end, Allah will expose the hypocrite. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ما كان الله ليذر المؤمنين على ما أنتم عليه حتى يميز الخبيث من الطيب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah will not leave the believers in the state that you are in presently until He separates the good from the evil. Actually, khabith min at-tayyib is more like the filth from the pure, right? So that's the terrible description Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving, but it's very scary, but it's very true. That look, that's what life is. Life is a test. You go through these different fitnas, you go through these different trials. Why? So that when you put fire to the ore, it separates the filth from the gold, right? That's, we all know the ore, the what's it called? Smith, what's it called? Blacksmith, Jazakallah khair. The blacksmith, that's what he does, right? So that's the idea. In dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to keep testing you, and in the end, the separation will be clear. It's not your business to go exposing people. Just make sure you're on the right side of the equation. And with that, inshallah, I close, and I would like to open it up, possibly for comments. I know people usually say question and comments, but I don't like questions. I like comments, though. So if you guys would like to open it up for comment time, let's do that. Bismillah. So we all remember all 9, inshallah? Maybe, don't worry, I'm not going to quiz you guys. But I know it's a heavy topic. Anytime I've given this speech, people just sink in, oh man, that's a heavy, you know what I mean? Because it's picking at all the little problems with it. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing if you feel like this was a heavy speech, because like I said, the believer is the one who always fears nifaq. If you were like, oh, that's so much fun, what a great speech, you know, I can point out all the people that are like that, but not me, then that's a bad attitude. But if you felt like, wow, I need to really be careful, then that's the quality of the believer, because then you will improve yourself in your deen. So inshallah, work on these 9 points, and obviously there are many more, but these are just quick 9. And I guess with that we'll close. وجزاكم الله تعالى خيرا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.